This one thing, no joke, will exponentially make your sparring skill level, your overall skill level, so much better. And you might be going, well, what could he possibly say that is gonna help us that much? But this is real. This is gonna stop you from getting punched in the head. It's gonna build your confidence on throwing counters, and it's gonna give you that security to step forward without being worried about getting smacked yourself. Man, I'm excited to share this one with you. And it might seem simple, but man, this has saved me so many times. Before we get to that, I want to let everybody know that those who missed out on Strike Ready movement, where we were doing our footwork, all sorts of basic things and fancy things, we're working on our range and we're working on our balance. So that if somebody catches your kick and shoves you backwards, you don't get knocked over. If you missed it, now you have the opportunity to get back in. There's a link down below there. And we have a special on $99. You're going to be able to go back and watch the 3 live calls, which are recorded, and have access to all those videos, which so many people say just bump their skill level up. So be sure to check that out. Now, what am I talking about today? How am I going to, like the title of the video said, how am I going to 2 times your skill level with this one little switch? Sounds too good to be true. I know. When we're shadowboxing, when we're doing bag work, when we're doing pad work, very often I see people doing their work. That doesn't look too bad, right? But what am I not doing here? What should you see and go, huh, he didn't do that? Well, I didn't close my fists, but that's a different story. Sometimes I like going a little bit more open with my hands. It just makes things a little bit more snappy. I saw Pacquiao years ago, just doing his fast little hand fly thing. I'm like, it's okay. I don't need to close them every time. But what was I not doing? Yes, my hands were high, but they weren't actually touching my head. Now, for anybody who's relatively new, if we have a boxing glove on, any glove, no glove, we can have our hands high enough, which will definitely decrease the impact if a shot comes to hit us. But what's going to happen is your own hand, unless you actually meet it, it's going to bounce off your own head. Now, while that shot, you hitting yourself, is not going to knock you out, most likely, has happened, but most likely that's not going to knock you out. What can happen is you get hit with one shot, it makes you close your eye, blink, or you get a little shift, and then the second shot comes and lands on you. Now, this is something that your coach has been telling you since day one. Day one at the gym, hands up. And you're like, yeah, my hands are up. And they're like, no, they're not. Hands up. So you put them up. But how many people have taught you about connecting your hand to your head and where should it be when you're executing punches? So I can step forward without fear of, getting slapped if somebody goes to counter me. Where should my hand be? Well, the first thing is what part of my glove should be connecting to my head? Because many people do this very wrong. They take the glove and they hold it like this. That doesn't look too wrong, does it? Right? Hands are here. But now what is going to hit my head? The thumb. And when the thumb is against your head, even if you are connecting it, it's a very small surface area. So you're going to really feel that impact there. Whereas if you turn the glove very slightly, you're using this area in here. Now, when you get hit, the impact feels quite a bit less. It also gives you a little bit more coverage, in my opinion, too, because this direction, as you can see from the side, I'm very exposed back here, but when I come to this point, I'm a little bit more covered, and I can still be covered up the middle. So I take those 2 points, and I connect them to my head. Now, every time I throw a punch, I touch, I touch, I touch. I'm always touching my own head. Where do you touch? Right on the eyebrow or slightly above. You don't want to touch down here because now this whole section of your head is open and somebody can come and hit you in the temple or the top of the head and knock you down. I've heard students that I've done Zoom privates with stating their coach told them, you don't get knocked down if you get hit here. Okay, see how that goes for you. Hands here, right above the eyebrow or right against the eyebrow so you're fully protected. Now when I start throwing my shots, and I was almost like a fanatic with this for 10, 15 years. Every time I punch, my hand is always touching my head to the point where sometimes I was actually, like, you can hear that impact. I was actually touching my own head. Then I went, okay, I don't have to actually strike that hard. I can just place it, but my hand is always gonna come back, because now if I'm in the middle of an attack, boom, 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 and they happen to throw, my hand is there. My hand is there, and I am protected for the counter. I don't have to worry about my own hand slapping me in the head and then getting hit with the subsequent shot, which could be the one that knocks me down. This will also give you confidence in, of course, your ability to defend a little bit better, but more so for me, it's the ability to attack and not have fear. And if you can mitigate fear as you go on the attack, your skill level is going to rocket. I just got a message on Instagram yesterday. This one dude, he's like, I don't mind getting hit. He said, he's like, once he gets hit, he's like, I don't really care. But he still has that fear of stepping in, because you know, oh, there's the possibility. Even though you've recognized it's not going to knock you out normally, you can still have that initial fear. And then you spend a lot of time waiting and waiting. And then the other guy throws and maybe you parry, but you don't do anything. And then you're waiting. You're kind of always on the outside. And while fight sports should not be who throws more shots will determine who wins, if this dude throws 100 and I throw 50, I better darn well make sure my 50 are so much better than his 100, and that my 50 are doing way more damage. But as you're a beginner, you're not as good at landing those shots. You're not as good as finding the opening. So being hesitant and throwing less can be a real problem. So connecting those hands to the head every time you throw, every time you kick, making sure one hand is connected, a knee, one hand is connected. This is going to change your game. And that's it. That's all from me, guys. I'll see you back here soon for another video.